Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the October 24th, 2020 edition of Pro Wrestling Throwdown. I'm Caleb Black. He's Luke the Big Dog Williams. That's our in-studio producer, the Mighty Matt. And it is time for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view pre-show. Quick backstory. We have a contest going on. The winner, who calls the most matches correctly from now up to WrestleMania, gets to pick a stipulation or a punishment for the loser. I am currently in the lead at 10-9. We only count the points for the matches we call differently. And we also have a sidebar that if our in-studio producer calls more matches correctly than us altogether, he gets the 1 point that gets decided to be determined from that pay-per-view weekend. And also, as a bonus, Max currently has a point because he was the only one to have picked Sami Zayn in the ladder match for the Intercontinental title at the last pay-per-view.
Yes.
So Max has a point to give away. I've got 10 points. Luke has 9 points. Let's get right into Hell in a Cell and talk about some points. There are only 5 announced matches, so we're only going to talk about these 5. There are some other tentative matches. Luke can explain what's going to go on with those.
With those, we will make predictions, and if those matches do take place, they will count. If they do not take place, they will not count.
And if the card changes and they announce a bunch of matches during the pay-per-view, we're not going to count those either, because it's really not fair for us to make those calls. Sometimes we allow that because always cards are subject to change, but with this weekend being so packed, we're just going to go with the matches we know about.
Yes.
Let's get right into it for the SmackDown World Heavyweight Championship. The Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, defends
The Universal Championship.
No, Drew McIntyre's the Universal Champion.
No, Drew McIntyre is the WWE Champion.
Oh, well, whatever. The SmackDown World Heavyweight title. That's what they should call it.
Heavyweight championships.
They should only have one.
Agreed.
Roman Reigns defends against Jey Uso in a Hell in a Cell I Quit match. Roman Reigns keeps the belt. That's my pick.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't think anybody can argue that. Max?
I gotta go with Roman Reigns on this, as much as I don't want to.
Man, he's doing so good right now, though.
I don't think that Jay could beat him in that environment.
No.
Really. And storyline-wise, I think it's got to go to Roman.
Not only that, I don't see Jey Uso making Roman Reigns say I quit.
Right.
I think a very cool thing too is one of the stipulations that if Jey Uso loses, the Usos become the subordinates of Roman Reigns, which adds a really cool dynamic, like we talked about before.
Like the Samoan Shield.
Storyline-wise, I think they're going to go.
Also, going out on a limb, and I see tonight that Uso's in trouble. And the other Uso comes to the ring, and just when you think that Uso is going to save the other Uso, he backs away. I think that one Uso is going to be like, no, he's right. He's the tribal chief.
You know what else they could do? They could twin magic it, and Jimmy can say, I quit. And cost him the match.
Could be. Regardless, I see one Uso being like, no, man.
Yeah.
I totally agree with Roman.
Yeah.
I just think that's where that's going to go. If it was a pinfall or something, I'd go so far to say one Uso screwed the other one.
Yeah.
But because it's an I Quit match, I see something along those lines happening. But yes, Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Otis defends the Money in the Bank briefcase against The Miz. That's a hard one.
I'm going Otis.
I'm going to go Otis myself, but that's a hard one. Just because the WWE could screw this up enough.
Here's the deal. I'm going out, and I'm just going to say it. If you take the briefcase off of Otis, you're making a mistake.
I agree.
Because everything good that has come from him winning Money in the Bank fan-wise, all of us fans are going to shit all over it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Otis,
it's almost like two serious wrestlers.
It's almost saying Otis. Yeah, it's almost saying Otis because he's the heavy guy and stuff doesn't qualify to be able to cash in Money in the Bank because that's where the storyline's going. And I'm telling you, if Otis loses, it's a big mistake.
I agree.
Going with Otis.
Max.
This is what get us.
Like you said, that's a tough one. I want to lean towards the Miz, but. Yeah, I think I got to go with you, fellas.
I'm thinking, all right. I'm with you, fellas. All right.
Seriously, like, it's not even
could
about.
Easily go either way, though.
Right. It's not even about the Miz. I love the Miz. I just don't. Don't do it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, if he wasn't so connected to that case, I would say the Miz.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think storylines say you got to go with Otis.
Yeah.
Jess Harvey taking on
Is that Mac's
Elias.
brother?
Yeah, it's Mac Harvey's the Harvey brothers.
The Harvey brothers.
Jeff Hardy versus Elias.
This is probably where we're going to separate. I'm going Elias.
I'm going to go Jeff Hardy. Got to.
I don't see Elias losing his first match back.
That's fair. That's a fair point, but I feel like Hardy just will go into Raw, keeping his momentum. I think Jeff Hardy's got to pick up the W.
I got to go with Elias.
Max.
I think that can go either way, but I got to stick with my man Jeff. I've been a hardcore Jeff fan since forever.
To the top.
And I know that he's been on a more or less a losing streak here for a while.
Right.
I think he's got it. I got to go with Jeff.
Yeah.
I think that if Jeff Hardy beats Elias, then that would be a mistake for the fact that this is the beginning of a rivalry.
Yeah.
And the heel has to win the beginning of the rivalry.
Prepare
There's no
for a
rematch.
mistake because Jeff is going to win.
I'm telling you.
I don't know, buddy.
I don't know.
Elias.
That honestly could go either way, but I got to go with Jeff.
Bayley defends her SmackDown Women's Championship against Sasha Banks inside Hell in a Cell.
I'm going Bayley.
So am I. Fuck 'em.
I think Bayley will get to the 2-year mark before she loses the title.
Yeah, I think that if they're going to put the belt on Sasha, it's going to happen closer to Mania.
Makes
Get a
sense.
real big payoff of this thing.
I'm going with Bayley.
That's where I got to differ from you fellas.
There's where the point comes into
I
play.
go with Sasha Banks because I don't know. I think I got a feeling. I think she's going to take it this time. I think it's time for Bayley to lose it, and I can't think of a better person. As much as I don't really care for Sasha Banks,
Yeah, but you got to admit
I
this.
think she's the perfect person
For especially a women's title feud, this one's not bad, and it's shaping up nicely. I think this match is going to set the pace for a lot of really good matches down the line between the two of them.
I think that with the idea that if Max doesn't beat us in the thing, but gets
a point for
he'll
Sasha
get
Banks.
a point of Sasha Banks.
I
against
agree.
Bayley.
I was actually just about to say that. So you heard it here, folks. If Sasha Banks wins, Max gets a point
which would
that we can later campaign for him to give away. He can give those points to either one of us, however many he has, however many he chooses, up to the bell time at WrestleMania.
That's right.
Of the first match on the main card. Which means if the bell rings at 7:05, he can give us those points last minute at 7:04, which could be a huge clutch coming in later. He can also give them at any point in time he chooses. So,
Also, if he accumulates more than 1 point, I think that if WrestleMania is 2 nights,
he gives one. He splits them up.
if he depending on the points,
Yeah, it's his call.
I believe that half of the points could be given night 1, half the points could be given night 2.
However he wants to do it. Before we get into the main event of the show, to us, the tentative matches that could happen tonight, we're going to go ahead and make picks for are Kevin Owens versus Aleister Black. Let me write that down. And Otis, no, not Otis,
Murphy, Rollins, and Dominic.
in a 3-way?
And now that's just things that have been kicked around. That's not set in stone, but those are the 2 matches I'm hearing.
Well, those are the chatter we're seeing, so those are the matches we're going to make picks for, just in case. When it comes to Kevin Owens and Aleister Black, I'm saying Kevin Owens.
I am going to. Black went to SmackDown.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, he got drafted.
Owens went to SmackDown.
Yes.
Black.
Okay. Max?
Yeah, I think I go with Aleister Black.
See, normally I would, but I feel like Kevin Owens is just the right time for him to go over right now. We don't know.
It could be. I was questioning.
The tentative 3-way, Murphy versus Rollins versus Dominic. I think Murphy ends up wrestling the whole match with Dominic, and Rollins ends up taking the pin.
So you're going with Rollins.
I'm going to go with Rollins, yeah. I don't see them letting Dominic beat both Rollins and Murphy just yet in the same night. I think we're going to have to build up to that. So Rollins is my pick.
Oh no! See, I think you're wrong. I think Dominic's going to take it, and Murphy is going to screw Rollins and help Dominic get the win.
That's not a bad idea either. Don't you do it.
So you went Rollins.
He went Dominic.
Max went Dominic. Honestly, I see Dominic and Murphy not being a cohesive unit.
Yeah.
Due to the Aliyah thing, or Elena, or however you say her name, the Mysterio daughter.
Yeah.
And I see that turns into Rollins winning as well, so I'm going to go with Rollins.
All right, and our main event, boys, Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell, WWE Championship on the line. Who are we picking?
RKO. Coming
Drew
in to Hell in a Cell.
You're full of shit.
Coming into Hell in a Cell at
No. Orton, of course.
Orton's been in 7 Hell in a Cell matches. Comes in at 4-3. McIntyre has never been in Hell in a Cell.
That's right.
He's got to deal with the Viper, the Legend Killer,
in a cage,
the Cerebral Assassin.
In a regular match, you got a 50% chance of winning. But a match with Randy Orton and a Hell in a Cell, now you got a 33 1/3 chance of winning against Randy Orton, 66 2/6 chances of winning.
Don't check that math.
Math doesn't lie.
Don't check that math.
Randy Orton
#T-Bag.
ubiquitously, Randall Keith Orton
definitely
wins tonight. Or tomorrow night.
Tonight's the night. And after he beats McIntyre, I think we see The Fiend come out and do something.
Yes. Now, on the board, right now, we've only got one real point to play with.
And that's Jeff and Elias.
And that is Jeff and Elias. So there's 1 point up for grabs unless the other tentative matches happen. Now, what if, what are we going to do? Say it's Murphy versus Dominic and not the 3-way. We're just going to throw it out?
Yeah, like I said,
the matches have to happen.
Those matches have to happen exactly like that, or they don't count.
But there is another tentative point at play with KO versus Black if that match happens, and if Sasha Banks wins, Max gets another point. So there's some points and some things happening roundabouts Hell in a Cell this eve. Tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Why do I keep saying it's tonight? It's tomorrow. So knock it off. Let us know what you think about Hell in a Cell. Who are your picks? Who's going to win? Who's going to leave? Who's going to die inside the cage? Let us know via email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com. Send us a Facebook message on facebook.com/prowrestlingthrowdown. Like, subscribe, leave us a comment down below, and don't forget to follow us at ProWrestlingTD on the Twitter.
On the Twitter.
Tweet.
Tweedly-dee. Hey, we promised we wasn't breaking out the song. Stop that.
Guys, stay tuned for more content coming your way.